The architecture of the female mind. Stop guessing, start governing. This is not a feel-good talk. This is an audit of your understanding. You are currently operating under a set of assumptions about women, about attraction, communication, and commitment that are fundamentally wrong. They are costing you peace, time, and power. The strongest men are not the loudest. They are the ones who understand the quiet, often hidden architecture of the feminine mind. Women function on emotional codes that most men ignore. This is not manipulation, it is evolutionary survival. We are going to dissect the 7 pillars of female psychology that women instinctively hide, not because they are malicious, but because these secrets are their armor. Once you see these patterns, you stop chasing their approval and start governing your own reality. Secret 1. The social validation engine. Why your privacy is her currency and how her friends decide your fate. You believe confidentiality equals loyalty. You believe what happens behind closed doors stays there. This is a masculine error. For women, silence is isolating, but narration is bonding and social currency. When a woman shares details about you, your arguments, your affection, or your mistakes, she is not simply gossiping. She is engaging her social validation engine. She is transferring experiences to her inner circle to process her emotion. She uses her friends to help her define how she feels about you. Their collective reaction shapes her subjective reality. If her friends tell her your actions are unacceptable, her brain immediately starts formulating an exit strategy. Establish a safety net. By sharing your vulnerabilities, she is psychologically preparing her support system. If you leave or if the relationship fails, her story is already pre-approved and validated by her tribe. Manage the narrative. The version of you she describes becomes her accepted truth. If you consistently act with chaos, she will paint you as chaotic, justifying her potential departure. If you act with calm, she paints you as a secure man, solidifying her commitment. The strategy. Your goal is not to silence her, but to manage the data input. Don't overshare. Don't perform, don't react chaotically. The only privacy you retain is your emotional steadiness. Give her nothing dramatic to retell. When she reports back to her circle, the only narrative available should be one of consistency and control. This silent command structure is the ultimate display of masculine frame. Secret 2. The stability filter. The pursuit isn't for her pleasure, it's a stress test for your frame. The most common trap men fall into is believing the chase ends when she says yes. It doesn't. The chase is simply replaced by the stability filter. Women crave emotional steadfastness. This is the non-negotiable anchor. They will instinctively test you to gauge your capacity to handle pressure without collapsing or becoming volatile. She is not testing your love. She is testing your frame. The 4 key tests she will run: instinctive, not planned. The boundaries test. The pushback. She will push past your pre-established limits, whether it's arriving late, changing plans last minute, or making a small dismissive jab. Are you always this cocky? Her goal is to see if you will fold on your standards. If you prioritize her temporary comfort over your non-negotiable standards, you fail. She instantly loses respect and, with it, attraction. The volcano test. The emotional drama. She will create a small emotional eruption over a minor issue, the infamous "I'm mad and I won't tell you why." This is a deep psychological probe. She needs to know, when I'm chaos, are you still calm? If you become defensive, angry, or try to logic her out of her feelings, you prove you are reactive. If you remain centered, hold space without fixing, and respond with quiet resolve, you pass. You become her safe harbor. The delay test, the withdrawal. She goes cold. She takes hours to text back. She seems less invested. This test measures your emotional hunger. If you panic, send double texts, or start auditioning for her approval, you signal neediness, a fundamental collapse of your frame. The correct response is indifference and continued focus on your purpose. You do not chase distance, you respect it. The sacrifice test, the unspoken need. She doesn't ask you to help with the dishes. She waits to see if you notice. She says she's cold to see if you offer your jacket. She's testing your attunement. This isn't mind reading, it is assessing your investment. Can you put her well-being before your own immediate comfort without being asked? This proves you are a provider and protector. Secret 3. The curated past. Why she edits her story. The survival instinct against social judgment. When a woman talks about her past, she is not giving you the unedited director's cut. She is presenting a highly curated version designed for maximum acceptance and minimum judgment. This isn't deception, it's emotional self-preservation rooted in fear. From a young age, society conditions women to manage appearances. She understands the perception trap. A man's past is often called experience, while a woman's is labeled baggage. She will soften the painful breakups to avoid being seen as fragile. She will downplay too much experience to avoid being labeled as tainted. Earning the unedited story, demanding transparency will only push her to further secrecy. Her silence is a defense mechanism. She hides the chapters she fears you will use against her. The only way to bypass the defense is to prove you are mature enough to handle truth calmly. Ask, who did you become because of it? Instead of what did you do? You earn the full, unedited story not by interrogation, but by creating an environment of non-judgmental security. When she feels safe from your punishment, she drops the armor. Secret 4, the directional drive. She doesn't date you, she dates your momentum. A woman's instinct is to seek elevation, emotionally, socially, and in potential. This is not greed, it is evolution. For centuries, her survival and the survival of her offspring depended on choosing a partner with directional drive. She's not just asking, do I love him? She is asking, do I rise when I'm with him? The stagnation point. A man who stops growing, whose ambition quietly dies, immediately triggers her flight instinct. Complacency is the silent killer of attraction. The moment you stop challenging yourself, learning and expanding your purpose, she senses a threat to her own future security. Masculine purpose as security. Her security is derived not just from your current wealth, but from your momentum, your vision, your discipline, and your calm execution of your goals. That is the most potent form of security you can offer. This is the alignment principle. She is attracted to the man who reflects the woman she wants to become. The cost of carrying. A woman does not want to carry a man. She wants to feel carried by his purpose. If she has to constantly motivate you, lead your collective future, or apologize for your lack of ambition, the dynamic is broken. Attraction fades when leadership weakens. Keep evolving, not to impress her, but because the man who keeps growing never fears being replaced. Secret 5. The fear of dispensability. Why consistency is the new commitment. Her deepest fear is not losing love. It's the profound terror of being used and then deemed disposable. Every woman who pulls back or tests carries the scar of the humiliation wound, the memory of giving too much and being treated as temporary. Her caution is armor. You see it as being difficult. She sees it as necessary defense. Reliability as luxury. In the modern dating landscape, emotional consistency has become the ultimate luxury. Most men are transactional. They are passionate and attentive until they get what they want, and then they vanish or become negligent. The invisibility trap. If she feels unseen, unheard, or emotionally dismissed, she begins to detach in layers. When she is vulnerable with you, sharing her softness, and you betray that by being careless, you confirm her deepest fear, that she never truly mattered. Consistency is the only answer. You break through her armor with predictable reliability, not dramatic promises. Show up when you say you will. Follow through on your word. Your actions, not your poetry, are the only language that communicates, I see you, you are not disposable. Treat her softness as a privilege, not a proof of conquest. Secret 6. The silent scanning verbal cues and the subconscious assessment. Long before you speak, she has already read you. This is an ancient biological function. Her brain is a security scanner, assessing safety and strength through nonverbal data. When she looks at you, she is reading posture and presence. Do you stand like a man who belongs, or like someone waiting for permission? Straight posture, slow movements, and controlled breathing signal a grounded man who is secure in his surroundings. A rushed, defensive, or slumped posture signals anxiety and a lack of self-ownership. The micro-expression data. She registers how you interact with waiters, how you handle an interruption, and where your eyes settle in a room. Does your confidence remain steady when challenged? Do you treat those below you with respect? These small data points instantly categorize you: threat, toy, or potential. Reading energy. Confidence versus arrogance. She is drawn to focus without tension and confidence without arrogance. You cannot fake energy. Your body projects a feeling. A man who is internally secure projects a calm, steady energy. A man who is performing projects a strained, loud, or brittle energy. The strategy: obsess less over what you say and more over the feeling you project. Refine your presence. Your silent energy speaks louder than your loudest words. Secret 7. The recalibration of power. When infidelity becomes a psychological tool, when a man cheats, it is often impulsive, driven by novelty or opportunity. When a woman cheats, it is often calculated, and by the time she crosses the line, she has already mentally left the relationship. Her infidelity is about imbalance, not pleasure. It is a desperate act to reclaim control. She does not betray for excitement. She betrays to find a mirror that reflects the value she forgot she had. The unseen woman. The root cause is feeling emotionally invisible, unheard, or carelessly dismissed by her partner. She starts shrinking in her relationship. When her every attempt to resurrect connection is met with neglect or arrogance, something breaks. She stops seeking validation from you. She seeks leverage externally. The power of indifference. The most devastating sign is not when she argues, but when she stops arguing. When she ceases to care where you are, it means she already knows, or more importantly, she's now indifferent to the answer. She has found her emotional power in distance. The calm revenge. A woman's psychological revenge is calm and precise. She is not chasing passion. She is reclaiming significance. She's rewriting her story, and you are no longer in it. You cannot control her choices, but you can control the space that breeds them. Connection is maintained by attentional presence, not possession. Once she feels emotionally invisible, she will find a way to be seen. Conclusion: decoding yourself. You have just heard the 7 psychological secrets that govern female attraction and commitment. This was not about exposing women, it was about exposing your blind spots. Every time you lose composure, you hand over power. Every time you stay centered and respond with intentional, disciplined action, you take it back. Stop trying to decode women. Start decoding yourself. Control your frame, govern your emotions, and commit to your momentum. That is the truth no one tells men. Women do not make you weak. Your reactions do.